live for the Brewery Underground podcast.
In Nashville's harbor wise, Crockett brews will meet the skies. Stephen Scott, they lead the way. Brewery Underground, night and day. Raise your glass, let's ignite. In this city, we unite. Raise your glass, let's ignite.
Hey, guess what? Scott Turon, the Brewery Underground podcast. Well, here we are again, right?
We're
What you
back.
doing?
We're back. We're back.
Yeah.
I'm
we
not
are
doing much of
back.
nothing. I'm not really doing nothing. What are you doing?
Yeah. What is this podcast episode today? Is it about nothing? Is that
I
what
don't know
we're
about
doing?
nothing. We really don't have any rhyme or reason to it. It's kind of the
No.
podcast about nothing.
We have crossed over the Brewery Underground podcast today. We're just going to sit here and maybe we're going to hum like a giraffe or something. Is that what we're doing?
Maybe we might riff a little bit. We could do that. Is that what a giraffe sound? Is that what giraffe hums? That's
Yeah, buddy. Well, you know what? And we got to bring in two guys because they do a podcast about nothing. Although I'm going to disagree because I think they do a podcast that's pretty damn good. It's Hop In, We're Drinking podcast with Joe Crockett and Nick Rotruck. Guys, welcome in. We love you. We've gotten to know you, and now we got you on our podcast, and we're very happy that you're here today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We've been looking forward to this for a while, ever since you and Scott reached out to have us on, and we've been following you guys for a while. You've been a big inspiration in what we decided to start doing, and obviously we've all gotten to know each other pretty well outside of the podcast world. So been looking forward to having this little beer party tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, guys. Aloha. It's a beautiful day here in the islands, and I wish I could spread it all to you guys. But like Nick said, we appreciate all the help you guys gave us with the podcast. You answered technical questions. You put up with our nonsense. And I don't know how many beers we've had with you guys, and that helped too. But thanks for having us on.
oh,
Joe, why
Go
do you
ahead,
always
go
have to rub it in everyone's face that you're sitting on an island?
I would.
You know what? I have this hashtag that I use, and it's hashtag my life is better than your vacation. So
Well, for people that don't know, this podcast today, man, we're spread out across America because Scott and I, we're in Nashville, Tennessee. Nick, you're in West Virginia. And Joe, as you haven't already guessed, he is all the way in Hawaii. Our first guest from Hawaii. Actually, our first guest from West Virginia,
Yeah.
too.
woo woo.
Paradise, baby. Paradise.
Aloha.
Oh,
By
that's
the way,
awesome.
this picture in front of me is very familiar. You talked about us hanging out before and doing happy hours. This is exactly what it looks like. Add a person or two more here and there, but this is very familiar to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
think we've done this before. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have.
absolutely.
We have, and you know what we also do on those happy hours. We're drinking beer. We do the same thing on a podcast, guys.
Mhm.
We got the beer, and I have a beer that was in my refrigerator. We all do beer trades a lot and things like that. And I was going through my refrigerator the other day, and when people send us to basically the Brewery Underground podcast, they send beer. A lot of times they send it to Scott first. So he disseminates, he gives it to me. I live about a half hour from him. And the other day I was asking him, I said, "Hey, is that the beer that I got from Nick and Ashley?" And he said, "Yeah. I had 3 of them in my refrigerator. So, Nick, thank you. This is the Autumn Terra, the Ground Glen Brewery
Yeah.
IPA. So thank you, sir. Yeah,
You're very welcome. I hope you enjoy it. That's a good beer.
I probably will." What do you guys have drinking tonight?
Yeah, what do you guys got? Joe, what are you sipping on?
I've got, Nick and I, like I said, we've been talking a lot, and he keeps talking about Weld Works. So I picked this up at our local bottle shop. It is Citra extra juicy bits, a double dry
yeah.
hop with Citra Mosaic and Eldorado.
I love, and we were just talking earlier, they're in Greeley, Colorado. I love that you can get that in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's
we
the one
can't
thing. We
get it
got a
here.
local bottle shop here called Village Beer Kapolei, and Tim and his crew somehow managed to bring in stuff that you literally cannot get anywhere else. And as soon as he posts on Instagram, we got this coming in, I'm like, babe, we're making a beer run. So
Yeah, I love Wildworks beer. I pick it up at our bottle shop in Virginia, so we even get it all the way out here. So, I go to a place called the Beer and Wine Shop, and the guy that owns it, his name's Eric, gets some killer beers, and a lot of what I end up sending you guys, like Scott, those Trillium beers, that's where I get those at. So he brings in some of the hottest stuff.
Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah.
Nick, what have you got there?
I've actually got a little taste of the island that Joe sent over to me. I got Shades for Days from Hanakoa Brewing.
Woohoo!
Nice.
6% IPA, and then I got a couple on. Actually, I got one on deck, and now that I'm talking about it, I probably should have grabbed 2 or 3 more. But if I disappear in the middle, that's where I went.
Yeah, it's no problem. And I've learned with these things, especially with certain people, I bring a cooler up with me now, and I've got at least 4 in here because I've run out a couple of times, and I'm like, well, this sucks. You know,
Yeah, I probably should have did that.
That's
Well, I've
okay.
got one.
I'm editing this podcast, so if we have to take a break, I can just edit and then ta-da.
Yeah, just
Scott,
leave
what
it.
about you, man? What you got?
So I got this yesterday. Our buddy Armando gave it to me. He just came back from Zool, and it's called Handsome Devil from Zool. So it's not one of their sours as you would think. It's actually a New Zealand style Pilsner. Handsome Devil. I've not had it before. Just cracked it. And I got it just yesterday, so you can't really see the can art, but it's badass, isn't it?
That's a sweet looking can.
Isn't that cool?
Zool does the PB&J, right? Mixtapes. Is that Zool?
Yep.
Mixtape.
They
Yeah.
sure do.
Yeah, he was there this past weekend for one of their releases. They had a new release on peach, and then they had a big deal, and I think they dropped all 6 or whatever variants they've got of it at once out there. So had a big to do out there for it. So cheers, Armando, for bringing this. Cheers to you guys.
And cheers to
Yeah, I
you
was
guys.
on their website
Thank
the
you.
other day at Zool, and I was looking at all the ones they have because I have not been to Zool yet, but come on, a couple of months, I think in August, I'm going to be going there. I'm going to be over that way, so really looking forward to it. So yes, cheers, fella.
Yeah, cheers.
I haven't had anything bad from Zool. I mean, they just crank out quality beer, and it's also nice to see, like, when Armando posts that stuff. It's nice to see people get excited for beer releases again.
Yeah.
Literally people camping out and lining up for hours at a time to get a damn beer.
Yep.
It's something that the industry needs in a bad way.
Yeah, that's a hot commodity, that beer. And then they were limiting like 1 4-pack per person. There were so many people coming through there just so everybody hopefully gets a chance to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Southern Grist here in Nashville, they do about once a year. They put out the peanut butter and strawberry jelly hill, and that's one of my favorites. And I always look forward to it. I'm not standing in line necessarily, but Scott will be texting me, and he lives closer to Southern Grist. I'm probably about 35, 40 minutes, and I go, okay, I got to get back down there. But there's a tap room not far from where I live too that gets it on tap. So sometimes I'll head out there during the time that they have it, which is they usually have it out about 2 or 3 months and then try to get the cans too. So you're right about that, Nick. I mean, when you get those beer releases and you get excited about it, it's like, it's like New Year's come early.
It really is. Like, it's one of those things that, you can't quite beat the feeling whenever you have something big like that. So makes me sound like an alcoholic, but what's it matter at this point?
I mean, you post about beer, you have a podcast about beer, if it smells like it, maybe it looks like it. Maybe
I mean, I make beer.
You make beer?
I might bait in it.
I don't think that you're an alcoholic. I think you're a beer enthusiast, but who cares about labels, right?
I mean, people always ask me if I have a drinking problem. I'm like, no, I got it all figured out.
Yeah. I know exactly what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing at this point.
But what's funny is if you drank as many beers like in just the like your Bud Lights and your domestic stuff, you might be considered an alcoholic. But if you drink as many beers in craft, right, and they're different ones, it doesn't feel the same.
No,
I'm a craft beer enthusiast at that point. That's what I am.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We're enjoying an art form.
Yes.
No offense to the Bud Light drinkers out there, but if you're drinking about 20 Bud Lights a day, you may have a problem. You may have a bit of a problem.
But if you're drinking 20 double IPAs a day, you're just an enthusiast.
That's you're an enthusiast, and you're also drunk. But that's
What's
the
that?
goal, isn't it? Sometimes.
We're creating logic today on this episode. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we really, we were said in the beginning, we were really excited to bring you guys on, and I know you all certainly just recently started a podcast, and love to know really how it all came together with you guys. I mean, you've been talking about it. I remember probably about 4 or 5 months ago being on an Instagram happy hour with you guys, and you were talking then in the beginning stages of like we might be doing a podcast soon. And I was like, that's awesome. So it's something you guys have been talking about for a while then?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and it's something I kicked around the idea whenever I started this whole Instagram thing, and um, that's how me and Joe met was through the Instagram platform, and met through the beer community, and him and I we found a common uh, interest with West Virginia sports because Joe's originally from West Virginia, and little did we know that whenever we started talking, and we kept talking and talking and talking. Next thing you know, we became, best beer friends across the country, all because of a West Virginia connection here. And I remember talking whenever we would just chat before we even started doing the happy hours or anything like that, that I wanted to do a podcast. And Joe's like, if it's something you really want to do, just do it. And I'm like, all that self doubt and all the prep work and all that stuff. Like, I always say I'm not much of a talker to start with, which I guess I'm kind of proving myself to be a liar in that aspect. But I was always kind of nervous to kind of venture out on my own and give it a shot. And one night we were talking on a happy hour, and Joe was like, I think that's going to be fun. If you want to do it, I'll do it with you. So that's where we started. And I remember talking to you guys and Scott saying that, one day you just got to hit record and go with it. And that's essentially exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it was one of those things that, like he said, we started over. I'm originally from West Virginia, and I posted something like West Virginia just demolished somebody in football, and I posted it on Instagram, and then Nick's like, we started talking DM. But the one thing that we always want to tell people is we've never met in person. It's been just over this platform that we've gotten to know each other, and we were DMing back and forth one day, and I think I asked him. I said, where do you want to go in your brewing career? Like, what's the next step that you want to do? And he goes, well, I'm thinking about a podcast. And I'm like, man, just do it. Life is too short to not do the things that you enjoy. And then we hooked up one day on like a happy hour, just him and I. We kind of met. And we just kept talking and talking. And one day I'm like, hey man, if you want to do it, I'll jump in with you. We had no clue what we were doing, but we're having a lot of fun with it, and I couldn't ask for a better partner to be on a podcast with. I freaking love this guy. So
Did you
Aw.
starting the podcast? Did it feel like you needed another outlet for beer? Like you had the social media stuff, right? Already you're drinking it, but to kind of share with the world and to talk about it, was that like another reason for wanting the podcast to kind of, get more of that out?
Yeah, I mean, we've said it on our podcast before that even though the craft beer community is rather big, it's still like a very, very, very small notch in the world. So anytime that we can bring awareness to these breweries and the beer that they're putting out, and um, you know, try to bring as many people into that community as we can, we want to do that. But at the same time, I think what really clicked in for me is doing these happy hours that we've done in the past and just sharing the amount of fun that we have on those every week. I mean, we have an absolute blast just shooting the shit for 2-3 hours a week, and being able to put that on tape and share it with everyone. It's something that I really want them to do.
and yeah, the thing I think
Go ahead.
no, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, the very first time that I know I was on with you guys, and you were talking about, maybe having a podcast. I said to Scott, I mean, after we got done, it may have been like that night or the next day. I texted him like, we got to get both of these guys on the podcast. They're great. They're well spoken. I mean, they're fun. They would make for a great podcast episode. So, here we are today with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and we really appreciate you having us on because Nick and I, we have no idea what we're doing. We make no qualms about that. I think in the first, like when we introduced ourselves, I said that old line from the Flash Gordon movie, "I'm flying blind on a rocket cycle here. We have no idea what we're doing." but we're passionate about beer and specifically home brewing. And that's kind of, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are so technical about home brewing that most people can't even understand what they're talking about. But if you just keep it light and fun and talk about a few things and bring on other home brewers and like you guys and people that we have fun with, we just all love beer. And like you said, I think we took our Instagram platform to the point where we just both wanted to do something more to show how much we love this brewed elixir that brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it got started. But we wanted it to be about home brewing because that's something I'm passionate about. And Nick is passionate about it. I mean, Scott, you have Yeast Infection Brew Works. You can't think of a better name for a home brewery. Let's just be honest.
Or a
about
worse
it.
one.
Yeah, or a worse one. Exactly. It's not as bad as you think. I think is the logo on the front of the shirt.
That's exactly what it is.
But home brewing's a passion for both of us, and we want to get the message out there and get people started. We don't care how you get into it. We don't care if you use iGulu or we don't care. Just get into it and realize how much fun it is, brewing this like third most drank beverage in the world and have fun at it. And then you meet the community. That's how we met you guys. And it's just a great support platform. And Nick and I, we have a blast doing it. That's basically the reason why we wanted to take our platforms further and get the message out there about craft beer and especially about home brewing.
Well, I can tell you this: I don't homebrew, but I have learned a lot from when we started this podcast, and even before we started this podcast, I would be over at Scott's house when he's brewing beer, and I've had his beer. Yeast Infection Brew Works, by the way, and learned from him. That's helped me during this podcast, and then over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to you guys, and as I said in the beginning, it's not a show just about nothing. I know that's a play on words and it's fun and all that, and I think it's fantastic. But no, you guys do a really, really great job of as both home brewers breaking it down in the simple terms of everything. And I think it's great. I think it's relatable. I think it's conversational, and it's really helped me just over time. I mean, I've drank craft beer for years, but if you're not a home brewer, sometimes you're going, okay, maybe I need to start thinking more about when I'm drinking beer, the DNA of a beer. What's in it gives me a better understanding, and we'll get probably more into this podcast. We'll get more into IPAs and stuff like that because I know Scott wants to talk a little bit more about something a little later on.
Well, and if you talk to head breweries like that are pro brewers, most of them have started as home brewers anyway. So if you're talking to them, you've got war stories you can share, right? You got parallels and things that you've all experienced in home brewing, good or bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so much trial and error. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably what you're going to come across most people that you ask whenever they first initially get into it. And it's both an art and a science. I know that's an argument sometimes it comes up, but I think it's a little bit of both. But it's also one of those things that home brewing is as easy as you want it to be or as difficult as you want it to be.
Yeah.
And if it's something that you really want to try, just do it. Start off simple. Don't get in over your head. Do a little 1 gallon batch or something like that, and get your feet wet. Because if you jump in head first, it can be a little complex and it can just drive you out of it.
And you guys have asked people
and
too.
That's the one thing that we love about home brewing now is like it's evolved with technology. You got the Pliner system now, the iGulu, so you don't need to go out and buy like buckets and plastic, a stainless steel pot to boil on. You don't need a glycol chiller. You can brew on your kitchen counter. And if that gets you into home brewing, Nick and I have done our job and we're thrilled, and go on your journey. And that's why one of the questions we always ask the home brewers that we have on, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into home brewing? Because like Nick said, it can be daunting if you first get into it. We all know like the first time we brewed, it's like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot.
Yeah.
But then the more you get into it, you love the sanitizing and the cleaning, and you love standing there waiting for it to boil. Then you throw your hop additions in, and then you cool the thing down and put it in your fermenter, and you get up every morning to look at your little airlock. Oh my God, it's bubbling. This is awesome.
It's
And
working.
that's the greatest feeling for anyone who home brews is getting up and going in there and like, right on, this thing is bubbling. And you want to
Yeah.
call your wife, like, not that she cares, but she's like, babe, check this out.
It's I know. And I did this the other day because I brewed over the weekend, and like that first, I don't know, 15 to 18 hours, something could happen, but something doesn't, right? And I went to bed and I was like, shit, nothing's happened yet. So I get up the next morning and I was like, that was like kind of the 24 hours, like, okay, now it's starting to click. You just
Yep.
gotta be
Yep.
patient. It'll get there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Brewing, it's like it's not like a commercial brewery where you can control the temperature perfectly and throw your yeast in and have it start fermenting within an hour or two. Home brewing's different. That first 18 to 24 hours, you're praying to God this thing's going to work, and then
Yeah.
you get up the next morning and it's like Ralphie on Christmas Day. It finally came. It finally came.
Yep.
Check it out. The airlock is bubbling, and you're like, yes, I'm
Yes.
making beer.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is working. The process is working.
It is working, exactly.
One of your guests, and forgive me, I don't recall who it was, but you'd asked them kind of what advice would you give them? They said get a mentor, and I think it was great advice because just as you talked about, when you first get into it, it can be daunting, and I remember getting to daunting is in what the hell do I need equipment wise? You could probably go out and spend a whole bunch of money on shit you don't need, but you can keep it simple too at the same time, and you don't need all these extravagant things to start making beer. And I thought that was good advice from one of your guests.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Because usually whenever I brew, it's become a solo project now sometimes, but my friend Aaron always brewed with me from the beginning. So it's always good to have an extra hand, someone to bounce ideas off of, and just kind of boost your confidence level a little bit, especially when you first start, because it's something different that you're not used to doing. It's similar to cooking a meal or something like that. You just follow a recipe and that's about it. But also whenever there's some terminology there that you're not used to or some equipment that you're not used to, it's nice to having someone there that can just kind of hold your hand through it and answer some questions along the way or kind of just give you some reassurance that you're not going to mess this up.
Yeah. Yeah, and if like somebody's probably experienced something already, maybe you hadn't yet. You're like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. That's fine, or that's
Right,
what to be
right.
expected, or you fucked up. Yep, you fucked
Exactly.
up.
Yeah. But it's also like if you do fuck up, like embrace it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because in the end, you're gonna have beer, and whether it's not good, whether it's good, you learn from that process.
Yeah.
So each little thing that you go through, it's all a learning opportunity, and you're like, all right, now I know what not to do, on the next batch.
And probably
And
a
then,
question for the both of you, because we've had a lot of brewery owners on. Whenever we get somebody that brews beer, and I mean, we've had so many great ones on. When we had founders on not long ago, and I mean, we had the head brewer up there, and he was fantastic. But I'm like, after all these years, I mean, where do your ideas come from? I mean, and then and that was a question for him, but even for both of you and Scott, I know where your lot of ideas come from, but even for the both of you, you're sitting at home, or you're out someplace, and you all of a sudden you have this idea, and you're going, "This is the kind of beer I want to make this week, or maybe today." Is that the planning stuff for you guys, or how does it work?
I think for the most part, when we first got into it, we were just doing the one all kits, the one that you order a kit, it comes with the malt and the like a pound or two of specialty malts, and then you got the extract and all of that. But over the years, it's gotten to the point where if I go out and I like a beer that a brewery has, I'm like, I'm going to figure out a way to do this. But and again, Nick's dad calls me the old feller. I've been home brewing since 2007, and I'm not an expert at it in any way. I'm just something I'm really passionate about. So what I did, I delved into it to where I read so many books on hops and malts and profiles of different beers. And I think a wife or my daughter got me a book with a bunch of clone recipes in it that it's commercial beer, but it breaks it down to your level of home brewing that you can make that beer.
Mhm.
Like I did a rogue dead guy ale that you couldn't tell the difference between what I brewed and the real thing because it was the same recipe. But founders, and I think I listened to that episode, and I think it was the one of the brewers that says they have so many core beers that they really can't think outside the box and come up with new stuff. Like they got to keep the stuff all year long, and they'd have to plan out 2 or 3 years to
Yeah.
come up with a new beer.
Yeah.
And that's something Nick and I have always talked about. Like home brewers, we don't. I can open my kitchen cabinet and go, oh, I got a bottle of agave. Well, I'm going to make an agave wheat beer. I'm just going to do it. It's just
Do it.
Yeah.
that's what it is. We're not locked into like having to answer to someone about we brew beer for us that we like. And that, like I said, we go out somewhere and I'm like, I see like white chocolate and I'm like, oh, I can make a beer with that. And that's basically how it comes up. Most of my beers are just, I either think about them or I open the cabinet, I'm going, oh, I've got a 1 pound thing of coconut. I'm going to make a coconut brown ale. That's kind of how I come up with my stuff.
Well, and founders, I'll tell you, you mentioned them, and that's a different breed, obviously, because of who they are, and
Right.
if people are, we talked about that, and I asked them, I said, I remember the first founders beer that I had was the Founders Day All Day IPA, and where that's gone and where that's taken off, but it's the demand and the expectation level. That's why they've gotten so big, but they have to keep that cycle going, otherwise, there goes your business right there. So
Yeah.
obviously there is a big difference between what they're doing and what a home brewer is doing, but you guys are still getting there. You're still drinking some great beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with Joe. I'm kind of the same way. It's kind of nice having the flexibility to do what you want to do with it, but I think a lot of my inspiration comes from just using the resources that you have around you. And I think online resources are vastly underrated for anyone who doesn't have access to like a homebrew club or something locally that you can bounce ideas off of. So for example, if you're a member of the Homebrewer Association, they have a whole forum you can get online and chat with. You have archives to their magazines from years and years and years, and they have a whole list of recipes and clones and stuff like that that you can follow. So, I mean, if there's anyone out there listening who's looking to get into that, I would definitely start on the online route as well through either the Homebrew Association or like somewhere like Brew Your Own Magazine. They have a bunch of articles and recipes and articles and stuff that you can read on there as well.
And for stuff that you make, even though it's not willy-nilly, but you're finding stuff, you still wanna drink it at the end of the day, right? You wanna make something that you wanna drink and maybe share with people too. So, you want something palatable, and you guys have enough knowledge to be like, "Okay, I can take these ingredients and make something I think will be good in some kinda style."
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
what it is, I think the more you get into this, it's not even a hobby anymore. It's a passion for me. It's like literally, if I could just stay home and brew all day, I would do it. But I don't think the wife would let me do that. Um, but what it is, the more you get into it, and this is where Nick and I, we've kind of, we've done a podcast episode just about hops, like the Holy Trinity, like because
Mhm.
we've learned over the years, like once you get into it, you learn about the different hops and the different malts, and you can sit there and go, well, I want to make this type of beer. And once you get to the point where you're knowledgeable about most of the ingredients, if you want to make a pilsner, you're going to know what malt to use and what hops to use. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to throw a bunch of stuff in a pot, get it boiling, and just go on with it. I mean,
Yep.
we're not solving the world's problems. We're making beer.
Right.
And Charlie Papazian, greatest phrase ever in our home brewing community is RDWHAHB. Relax, don't worry, have a homebrew. At the end of
There
the
you
day,
go.
you're making beer,
Yes.
right? Just
Yeah.
enjoy it, embrace it, and in a week or two, you're going to crack open a bottle, or you're going to open a tap, and that's going to pour into a glass, and you're going to be like, "I freaking made
I
that!"
made that.
And it's going to
Yeah.
be either one of the greatest things ever, or you're going to be like, "Oh, I might want to tweak that next time."
Yeah. Yeah, those are the ones you don't share so much.
No, not so much. This one's just for me right now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get friends like, "Oh, you making this thing?" I go, "Yeah." "Can I try it?" To be determined.
Yeah,
It's gotta pass my quality control, you know?
right.
So what's it called?
Yeah.
It's PBD IPA. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times that my wife gets on me because I make a beer, put it on tap, and I don't have a name for it, and all of our tap handles are like chalkboard handles, so you can write it
Yeah.
in, and it drives her nuts if I don't have something written on that handle. Where she writes it, she has better handwriting than I do, but it'll sit there for 2 months without a name.
With nothing? Like not even a style? Like this is a Kolsch or anything like that?
I mean, I know what it is. I just don't write it on there.
He just calls it beer.
This is
Craft
beer
beer.
one,
Yeah.
beer one, beer
Yeah,
two,
beer one,
three.
CB.
Right. Like
Yep.
I know what it is, and that's all that matters.
She's like,
So
"Nick,
Joe, not
what beer
only
is this?"
yeah.
Well, you can just tell by color, right? Like, oh, that's the porter. Okay, I don't know.
As soon as it pours, you're like, that one.
That one.
So Joe, not only do you brew beer, but you work at a brewery. So you're around beer all the time.
Yeah, I was lucky enough June of last year to land a job with Waikiki Brewing Company, and I've been a big fan of them when they first opened in 2015, and I had a weekly pilgrimage down there every Thursday, and I went to their anniversary parties. And Joe Lorenzen, one of the original guys that opened the brewery, told me, he goes, one day we're going to get you to come work for us. Well, fast forward 10 years later or 9 years later, I got hired to work for him, but I actually run their tap house on the west side of the island. So we have all Waikiki Brewing beer on tap. We have a couple local. We bring in like Hanakoa. We keep it all island inspired beer. And yeah, I was lucky enough to land a job in the industry, and yeah, I love it.
Is it?
Yeah,
I know
that's my
it's a
question
job.
too. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
No, I was just say real quick, like I know it's a job, but still, it's got to be like a fun job, right? It's not digging ditches, right? It's like you're in something that you love to do. Do you feel like that?
I think I said it when we had the guy on from Ivory Beer Company. It's like any other job. You have your
Mhm.
good days and your bad days. It's not always the greatest job in the world, and that's the thing. Sometimes when you take what you love and you make it your job, it sometimes doesn't feel like a job anymore. But I can honestly say I get to get up and go to work every day, and it's beer. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, it's beer, and I get to, as someone who come in and they go, "I don't like beer." I'm like, "No, you just haven't had the right one." And I've got 8 taps that I can play with and let them try everything or guess beers in cans or whatever. And so, yeah, it's like any other job, good days, bad days.
So Joe, do you ever
Yeah.
do any arm twisting since you homebrew and say, "Hey, maybe here at Waikiki you can try my beer. Maybe get it
Um,
on tap."
I went down to our what we call our OG location. It was the first Waikiki brewing location that opened a couple weeks ago, and brewed with the head brewer, and one of the other guys had a blast of a day just brewing all day. And we talked a little bit about that, and I do like an L's for ALS double IPA every year and donate money. I'm big into it. I believe in it. It's a great thing. But I'm kind of in talks with them. They've asked me, can we have your L's for ALS double IPA? We'd like to brew it. So we're in the process of figuring out, tweaking it a little bit, and see if we can make it come to. But that's the first time within almost a year I've been working with it. They've come to me and said, "Hey, we've noticed you've done this 2 years in a row. Would you be interested in kind of like doing this with us?" And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's
Would
awesome.
that be considered like would that be considered like a collab with them, or how would that work? Would it just be
Um,
their beer, or
well, no, it's my recipe, and so it'd be one of those kind of like weird things. It's like Waikiki Brewing in collaboration with the Rock and JY home brewery or whatever you want to call it. It's still my recipe, but they'd have to tweak it to a big 7
Mhm.
barrel system. Um, and that can easily be done. But, they've kind of noticed the past 2 years when I've been posting about it and all that. And it's like, it's something good. And I think last year there was only me and one other brewery in the whole state of Hawaii that did it. I wish more people would get on board with it because it's a great organization. But yeah,
Awesome. Well, you guys have done 9 episodes. Does it feel like 9? Because, dude, you're racking them up. You guys are racking them up. And it's not only 9, it's like you've done 9. It's a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely come along quicker than we thought, and I think we caught on quicker too than we thought we would. It's still a learning process and everything, but we've definitely gotten the hang of it. We've kind of gotten the camaraderie and the questions and everything down a little bit. Sometimes we get a little robotic, and we've talked about that, so that's something that we're going to work on trying to make
Yep.
the conversation flow a little bit better from episode to episode. But it definitely doesn't feel like we've been at this for almost 3 months now. I mean, it still feels like we're still starting up and still throwing around ideas. And each episode we end up with 5, 10 more ideas, and
Yes.
we could go this way, we can go this way, we can talk to this person and this person and this person.
Yeah.
And, next thing you know, you got a list of 50 things that you want to try to do or people you want to get on. And you're like, well, shit, where do we go now?
But
Just
it's a great thing,
yesterday
right?
just yesterday and today, Scott and I were texting back and forth for probably at least 50 different text messages yesterday and today about ideas that we have from previous episodes, and let's take it in this direction, or let's down the road, let's talk to these people or that people. And so I get it, but it's funny, don't be too hard on yourself, because I'll tell you, in the beginning, um and when Scott and I started doing the podcast, I was maybe a little robotic, because back in the day, I've been out of it for a long time, but back in the day I used to work in radio news or whatever. So I had this news background, and we'd get people on. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this interview, and I haven't done it. I work in healthcare now, but it's kind of like, it's like you still get out on that bicycle and you're riding it. And so we'd get people on, and I'm like asking these questions like, tell me your statistics of how many, and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, so I don't really do that anymore, and if there's like specific questions that I may have beforehand, I go, I'm going to ask them beforehand if maybe they know, and if they want to tell us, that's fine. But now it's just all like, let's just keep it light and have fun. We don't want to get too serious. So I think sometimes in the beginning, I was finding my pathway of not being like this serious guy. We're talking beer, So
Oh, he used to
hey,
at
it
the 50
evolved.
minute mark. At the 50-minute mark, I could feel his stare coming through. Like, I wind it down, and I
But
even said in a couple episodes, I could see Steve looking at me like he's wanting to
yeah,
wind this thing
it's
down.
like he was waiting for the
Well,
commercial break.
yeah, I think that's another thing too. It was like I did, I was a producer at one time too, so it's kind of like, okay, okay, we got 2 minutes left or whatever, and just like, nah, this is a podcast, so
Yeah, yeah.
you live and learn. But we've evolved, and I
You
don't worry about that kind of
guys
stuff
have said
anymore.
it too. There are no rules, right? They're kind of just the rules you want to make. It's
Yeah,
it's your
No,
thing. You adapt it the way you guys want to.
yeah. And that's the fun part of it, right? Is
Yeah.
you're not held to a standard, or you're not censored over anything, or you're in total control of what you talk about, who you talk to, and what you say. And uh, it definitely makes it much, much, much easier to be able to operate within those realms, knowing that you don't really have a boundary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
And
know,
like
and, and that's the thing, we have this vision for the podcast that we don't want it to be ever seem like a job. We both work
yeah,
full-time jobs like you guys do. This is a side project among the other things that we have going on, like on, brewing at home and all that. But Nick and I, we have this thing, and we just want to keep it fun and lighthearted. And we said at the very beginning with our introductory episode that if you're coming here for serious conversation or whatever, don't waste your time. This is not what this is about.
right.
And we want to keep it that way. And like I said, neither one of us have any background in this whatsoever, um, at all. We're learning as we go, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. And I love getting on with him and doing the podcast and the random stupid questions and the giraffe facts and the their nipple
I
facts
loved
that
it.
everybody seems to hold on to. But that's the one thing, we don't ever want to get to the point where we wake up one day and I'm like, I don't want to get on with Nick. I will never. I don't want to get to that point where that's what it turns into. I
Right.
look forward to recording with this guy and getting on with him with the happy hours and you guys and just talking about beer. And at the end of the day, our podcast, your guys, mine, like everybody else that's in the industry, it's about beer. Remember that, right?
Yep.
We're not saving the world. We're talking about beer.
And I'll tell you, it is great. You guys mentioned having great partners. I've got a great one too, and it is so cool just to be able to. We share editing and ideas and things, and one week he puts an episode out, next week I put one, whatever that thing is, and it's like, oh, I'm like, oh, I don't put one out this week. Whew, okay, good. I literally woke up over the weekend. I go, fuck, am I supposed to be doing something this week? But it was he was already. I mean, we have a list and we know, but it was like, oh, I was like, okay, well, Steve's got this one, So it's a great
Yeah.
thing where you're not having to do it every single time, and you can bounce stuff off each other. It's just great having a great partner.
Well, in the beginning, because we basically put out an episode every week, and in the beginning it was just me that was editing, and I have an editing background, and Scott didn't, and so I for like the first 3 or 4 months I was doing all the editing, and finally one day I said, "I think you're gonna have to learn how to edit, man, if we're gonna do this every week."
Yeah, but he didn't follow my advice. I said just just fucking
Yeah,
throw it
just
up.
throw it up there. He's
Just
like, just
throw
throw
it
it
up
up there. I'm
there.
like, no,
Hey,
no,
you
can't.
just take the advice you gave us. Hit record and post it.
Let her
The
Yeah.
rip,
only
baby.
Yeah.
the only difference now, and this is really funny. So when we created all our accounts and all that, and it was on the Instagram, especially he created the Brewery Underground podcast Instagram account, and it was probably about a week or two afterwards, and I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, we have one? Okay, I didn't know. And then I would get on there, but then sometimes when people were like messaging us, Scott would message them, and then I would message them, but they didn't know who they were talking to. So I finally got to the point I was like, you know what? Just Scott, you take over. Everybody, if I need to get on there or whatever and comment, I will. Otherwise, I'll use my personal account.
Yeah.
That way, people aren't confused because they're like, who the heck am I talking to anyway? And so
That is fun. I do like fucking with people that way. It's like, so I can fuck with someone this way, you know.
is it
They don't know
Steve?
who it
Is it Scott? Who are they?
That's awesome. What was what's
Hmm.
something, as you guys have been doing the podcast, what's something that's unexpected that's come along, whether it's been in research or technical or anything that you guys have discovered since doing the podcast?
I don't. We've never really had any technical issues per se. Knock on wood. We're still early enough in that we haven't had to
Yeah.
fool with that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything's shockingly gone as planned for the most part. We've had a last minute cancellation recently that kind of threw us off our game a little bit. That was probably the biggest hurdle that we've had, and didn't really have time to play catch up for that week. But for the most part, I mean, I think we've both been pleasantly surprised at the reception of the podcast. It seems like more people than we ever thought would tune in are listening, and the fact that people want to take the time to listen to two bums from opposite ends of the country talk about beer through a microphone over the internet, it kind of blows your
Yeah.
mind.
Well, I think for me, the one thing that really surprised me was that when, Nick and I first started doing this and, I always tell Nick that he's Johnny Carson, I'm Ed McMahon. He's the host, I'm the fat guy on the end of the couch, right? Because it was his idea and I wanted to get into it with him, but now it's really become this thing to where we're both kind of invested in it, right? We are the Hop In We're Drinking podcast. And the one thing that's kind of blown me away is when we first came up with this, I reached out to I don't know how many people on Instagram, home brewers, beer enthusiasts. I hate the term beer influencer. I don't like that concept. You're a beer enthusiast. Absolutely. They didn't know us at all, like other than through our but everybody enthusiastically was like, hell yeah, we want to get on with you guys. That was the most surprising thing with me. Nobody was like, who the hell are you to be asking me to be on some ridiculous?
Yeah.
Everybody was so enthusiastic. So to me, that was the most surprising thing of how many people were just like immediately, yes, 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 get us scheduled. That that shocked me, to be honest about it.
Joe, you just gave me goosebumps because I remember reaching out to our very first guest, which was our second episode, kind of like you guys. And they said, and we told him you're the first guest. And they said yes anyway. Like, who wants to be the first one? You guys haven't done one yet. Like, what the hell? But I still reflect on it. It's still mind blowing. And I still, to this day, we got a yes yesterday. It still blows my mind when people keep saying yes. And it's like, it's the best feeling. You ask them one time, it's like they don't ask a million questions. It says, what are you about? It's like, sure. We give a
Yeah.
little background of who we are and like, yes. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, we got another one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ring the bell.
and they just
That is
add up
literally
real quick.
Nick and I right there. I text him like, "Hey, this person's on. This person's on." He's like, "Right on." Every time I get somebody booked, I'm like, "Dude, check it out." They said yes.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
and it just keeps coming. Like we're to the point we're booked almost all the way through April.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's something that we thought that we were going to be like pulling straws to try to get someone week to week. And next thing you know, we're scheduling 4 or 6 weeks out. And I'm
Yep.
sure you guys are the same way at this point. But it's crazy, the amount of reception that it gets over such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think in
it,
some aspects, aren't we kind of booked almost to a degree, almost to the end of June?
we're into June.
You don't have
Like
to
I
Almost.
said,
brag.
this. Yeah, but we cheat a little bit. We love two-parters.
Yeah.
This will be a two-parter, I'm sure. But what that does is it gets them stacked up. Like we got a lot of guests still, but it stacks them up, right? We can go on vacation for 2 weeks or something. We still got stuff that can fill in. So we got a lot. So we like that. It's a bit of a cheat.
That's right.
Yeah.
You want to hear more from Joe and Nick, you're going to have to wait till part 2 comes out.
Well,
Right.
Uh, hey,
No,
there's something I want to talk to you about, you guys. And it's an IPA conversation. And Scott knows, I think, where we're going with this today.
And this is
I-
great because you got two hop heads right here in front of
Yes.
us.
Yeah, and I pee a lot.
Yeah, I know. Same here. So one of your episodes,
It burns when IPA.
It burns when IPA. I was about to say that.
funny. I know both of you guys love IPAs, and I've gotten into IPAs a lot more over the past year or so. But there's one that I'm trying to get into more. I'm starting to like a lot more. I'm not completely there yet, but I'm almost there. And Joe, you could appreciate this. It's the West Coast IPA style. And I heard you on a podcast say something like, some people describe it as cat piss. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Elaborate,
So what
sir.
it is it's so West Coast IPAs are so dank and piney. And if you're new to the West Coast IPA style, I don't think you're ready for what type of IPA that is. It's not your hazy, it's not your juicy, it's not your double dry. This is just a straight West Coast IPA brewed with dank hops. And when people first smell them or try them, the first thing that people think about is it smells like cat piss. And if you have cats, we all know what that smells like. It's not that, but it's got that kind of like really strong, piney, just overwhelming, dank hop flavor. But that's the main characteristic of a West Coast IPA. That's what you want out of a beer like that. It should be clear, not quite like a pill. You should be able to see through it, just see right through it. But man, it's like when it pours out of a tap, and I'll use my wife as a reference. When I crack open a West Coast IPA, her face immediately goes, "Ooh," because she can smell it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but that's my favorite style of beer. Nick, I'll turn it over to you. You and I are both hopheads, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, IPAs for days. So, and it doesn't matter the kind. Like I'm big into hazies right now. I'm big on the haze train. But any type of IPA, whether it be just a classic American IPA, West Coast, hazy, session, any of them's like right down my alley, and they all have different characteristics, right? Like Joe said, your West Coast is going to be your typical bitter piney bomb. You're going to get that clean, crisp taste and finish of a pilsner, but you're going to get that strong hot bite of an IPA. And then you get into the opposite side where you get your hazies, to where you're going to get a little bit of a hot bite sometimes, but you really get those tropical citrus fruity notes that is a little bit more appealing to the typical craft beer crowd, because I haven't met a craft beer fanatic that jumped straight into an IPA and loved it. So hazies is except for that guy, but hazy beers have been a big transition beer for a lot of people that
Yeah.
weren't into that whole IPA thing. So in a way, as many people hate it, there's a lot of haters of hazy IPAs, and whether they're an actual beer or what have you. But they've gone a long way of getting more people involved in it. So yeah, IPAs are definitely my favorite, but at the same time, I enjoy a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I just as equally enjoy, a barrel aged stout, or a nice clean lager, or even the occasional fruited smoothie sour. But I don't call it beer; I call it fruited seltzers. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm a Swiss Army knife of beer loving.
I am too. But what you described is exactly where I think Steve is right now. Kind of that transition from hazy IPAs, who he loves, and transition to that West Coast and not trying to like them, likes them, but now trying to expand on that.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's been an interesting transition as far as like IPAs because I've never been anti IPA at all. I mean, in the how many years I've been drinking craft beer or whatever. But I would say that when I would get and part I would say the starting the podcast actually has gotten me more on the IPA train. Um, before we started this podcast, I was out there, I was drinking all kinds of different beer styles. But if I were to go into a brewery, a lot of times I wasn't going for the IPAs. If I was purchasing beer, I wasn't purchasing too many IPAs. And again, I wasn't anti-IPA. It would just like, I'm doing other things and you get into like the repetition. So all of a sudden I started drinking some IPAs and I'm like, okay, can I like these? And I remember one of the very first podcasts that Scott and I did. We did it with a guy, and we had gone to he was the brewer at this brewery in Nashville, and we had gone there first, and then we got the guy on, and they were talking about this particular IPA that they both loved, and I'm listening to the conversation because I had it too, and I'm like, I really wish I could appreciate that IPA more that they are appreciating. So I'm just gonna have to drink more. I'm gonna have to get into them more. And so over time, as he said, the New England, the hazies I've gotten into. The West Coast, Joe, I'm starting to get there. I would say I'm about 65 to 70% there on liking West Coast IPAs. But some of the characteristics that you were talking about on one of your podcasts, I started laughing. I've never thought it tasted like cat piss. I wouldn't go back to it, but I started listening to it, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the way it is. But I had and I was going. We'll talk about the Untapped app in a few minutes, but I was going on my Untapped app the other night, and I would look, and I'm like, okay, I checked in some West Coast IPAs in 2024. 3.75 on Untapped is like my line of like if I'm checking in at that, then they're good. I'm gonna drink them again. I haven't gotten into that mark of like even if it wasn't on Untapped, even if I was rating a beer from 1 to 5, I haven't reached that threshold as of yet of rating a West Coast IPA on like a 4 level, a 4.50 or a 5. But I feel like I'm getting there.
So when you first drank your first West Coast IPA,
Yeah.
what was your reaction to it? Like, do you remember the first one you had?
Uh Scott and I actually were talking about that earlier, before we even started this podcast. I'm trying to think. It's probably been at least 5 or 6 years. It's probably been beyond that, but the ones that I can remember was about 5 or 6 years ago. I was at a brewery in Cincinnati called Third Eye,
Mhm.
and they've won awards for their West Coast IPAs at like beer festivals and stuff. And I went in there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it, and I had it, and I went, I can't imagine what the big deal is about this. But here's the key of that, and we'll talk more about that about this, when we talk about the Untapped app in a few minutes. Am I shitting on it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because it just wasn't my style. Doesn't mean it's a bad beer. It just wasn't my style of beer. But Scott and I have talked about this a few times on our own podcast, and I like these conversations. I like to revisit, and I'm going to go back to that brewery and revisit the beer that I had maybe 5 years ago and see what I would rank it today. And I'll bet you I would like it even more now.
Yeah.
Your palate probably is evolving too at the same time. Not
Yeah.
only just your mind, but your palate's probably changing too. Like, I always say, I think Joe, you alluded to this earlier. Like, hey, you haven't found the beer yet. Oh, I don't like IPAs. Maybe you haven't found that beer that happened to me
Mhm.
that bridges that gap. Like, oh no, oh I like that one. Now let
Yep.
me explore this thing now further.
Yeah, because what happened is I think we on this, all four of us, we started out drinking the macro beers. That's how, I mean, what our dad was drinking. I think Dave said it last week on the podcast with us, what your dad was drinking. Like My dad was drinking PBR in Olympia, so that was my entry into it.
That's what you had. That's
You
what you
know,
had.
and then, I had a Sierra Nevada, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Great beer." And then what got me on West Coast IPAs when I was stationed in Puerto Rico when I was in the military, there's a brewery there called Old Harbor Brewery, and they're still open now. It's the oldest brewery on Puerto Rico. And the brewmaster there was a German-trained brewmaster named Wolfgang Lindell, and Wolf and I got to be really good friends. So Yvette and I went down to the brewery one day, and he put this beer in front of me, and I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "Just drink it." I took 2 drinks out of that, and if you guys have ever seen the movie Beer Fest, it was one of those where I looked up at the light and held the beer, and I'm like, "This is beautiful." It was a West Coast IPA, and
Awesome.
I have never looked back since. I didn't have this taste like cat piss. I
Yeah.
didn't have this, oh my god, it was literally like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I found my beer." And that's what got me into it, but it took, and this guy's become a real good friend of mine, and he works for EC Dolls over in Sweden now as their director of brewing operations. We still talk on DM all the time on Instagram. We're really good friends. This guy was my biggest inspiration for home brewing and getting into beer. And I took him like a blonde ale that I brewed the first one. And he's like, "This is amazing." I'm like, "Don't mess with me, dude. It's fucking horrible." He's like, "No, this is really good." He let me come down and brew with him one day. He became a really good friend. But had he not put that glass in front of me, I wouldn't be in love with West Coast IPAs. The dank, the piney, the resinous, what I like to call getting thrown down and assaulted with hops.
Yeah.
You can't put enough hops in a beer for me. But what I understand, not everyone is going to like that style. But for
Well,
someone to say,
yeah,
I don't like beer, it's not
yeah,
that you don't like beer. You haven't found the style that you like. So don't say you
That's right.
don't like beer.
yeah.
I don't care if you grab a Miller Lite or a Bud Light. Just drink something that you like. I don't care what it is. But don't say you don't like beer.
Right. And Joe, following up on that too, one of the things that when you were describing why people may not like West Coast IPAs on your podcast episode that I heard was you were talking about the bitter taste, the bitterness of it.
Mhm.
And I think that's been probably the biggest standout for me. And I'm like, yeah, this one maybe is just a little bit too bitter for me. But again, I'm getting there. I feel like I'm gonna reach that threshold. So, talking about that last summer, you know, I did this summer tour, and it was called the summer tour of ciders and seltzers because the reason I did that was we were talking to all these
Because I
brewery
wouldn't.
owners. Yeah, because Scott wouldn't. I took the sword. Yeah, Scott wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna do it. I'm like, I'll do it. You can appreciate this, Joe, I would think, working at a brewery. We were talking to all these brewery owners, and they were talking about, how much things have changed in the craft beer business, that people are also liking seltzers and ciders. Well, I got to tell you, my introduction to seltzers and ciders was like very small. Maybe I had like one seltzer in my life. I had a couple ciders. So I just went, you know what? I'm gonna take one for the Brewery Underground podcast, and I'm gonna take the summer, and I'm gonna try some of these. And there's an episode out there. People want to listen to that. But this summer, my tour is going to be West Coast IPAs. I'm gonna seek them out, and I'm going for that 4 mark, and I'm going for that 5 mark, baby. That's what I want to do on my summer tour, West Coast IPAs. And when the summer ends, I'll report back.
We're gonna
Steve,
go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say Steve is on the hunt for the ultimate liquid pine cone.
Yeah. I'm putting him on a boat for 3 months, and he's gonna make notes, and he's gonna come back, and he's gonna report back.
All right.
The ultimate glass of cat piss. I can't wait to hear about it.
Oh, yes.
There's your episode name for the fall.
There you
That
go.
sounds like it sounds like
Okay,
a
but
good
we
yeast
already have an
infection beer
episode for
too.
the fall. We'll have to bring you guys back on. So
Heck yeah.
The cat pissier the better.
Yeah.
there you go.
Exactly.
It sounds like a good yeast infection beer.
There you
Isn't that
go.
the name?
Make note of that.
What's
Steve.
funny that
Make
there's
note of
that brewery on Instagram, Salt and Oak. They're just like an AI brewery.
Yeah.
And I have a T-shirt that I bought from them that's got a picture of a pissed off cat on it, and it's Cat Piss Double IPA.
Oh, I can appreciate that. That
That's
is
I
great.
couldn't pass it up.
That
Yeah,
is good.
That's great.
yeah.
Hey, speaking of
Um,
West Coast IPAs, one of the most famous ones, at least for us, and maybe not for you guys so much if you get it a lot, but Pliny the Elder. How do you guys feel about Pliny? It is like kind of the ultimate West Coast IPA, at least in a lot of people's minds. How do you guys feel about it?
I have never had one.
Really?
I actually it's true, but it's also a lie. So I have a Pliny the Elder in the fridge that I haven't opened yet.
Okay.
But I have had what was the Pliny for President? I had that
Yeah.
last year, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was a good beer, but I know that Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Younger is kind of, the end all be all, quote unquote, of those West
Yeah.
Coast IPAs, and I haven't had either one of those yet.
And I know they just in March they just had the Pliny the Younger release. So yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
No. So I had never had one, and then my daughter and son-in-law got stationed in Fairfield, California. He's in the Air Force, and he was at the Air Force Base. So wife and I went up and stayed with them and the granddaughters, and we went up to Santa Rosa, and I went to the Russian River pub because that was like I wanted to try a Pliny the Elder. That's like I keep hearing about this thing, people keep raving about it. So I went up there. I had one, and probably not going to be a popular opinion to what I'm about to say. It was a good West Coast IPA. I don't see what all the hype was about, because 2 days later, and I had a Stone IPA, way better West Coast representation of what it should be. I'm not in any way bashing Russian River. I would never do that. I had their Blind Pig. That was amazing. I got like a flight of beer, 17 different ones they bought to me and loved every one of them. I don't understand the hype of Pliny the Elder. It's a great West Coast IPA,
Mhm.
but there's better ones out there, and that might not be a popular opinion among beer people, but that's just me. I don't understand the hype.
Well, and you are a West Coast IPA guy, so you've had several of them, so you get that, you understand and you know what it should be. I can
Yeah.
almost equate it to you guys bourbon guys at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Blanton's, right? Blanton's.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the one everybody chases, right? I had Steve chasing them in Kentucky one time, like just looking for Blanton's. As I was getting into bourbon, and Blanton's is that same thing. It's the marketing. Again, it's a great bourbon. It's fantastic, but you chase it, right? You chase it, and you
Yep.
get it like, okay, that's good. All right, had it,
Yep.
But there are so many things out there that could be better and at a better price point too at the same time. Maybe not necessarily in Pliny's regard, but it's that same thing. It's like we're seeking this holy grail kind of thing, or the one that they tell us is the holy grail.
Yep.
Yeah. And it, now that we mentioned that, I really wonder where all that starts. How all these big names come about and they're so known. Like you got the Pliny Russian River group that have like a strong hold over the West Coast IPA, and then you go to the East Coast, and obviously you have like the Treehouse cult that's up there with
Yeah.
hazy IPAs and
For
all that
sure.
stuff. And don't get me wrong, like all that stuff's good, but is it better than things you can get elsewhere? I don't know. Whatever
I
it is,
think
the branding and everything they've just hit, and
availability is the other thing. If you can't get it everywhere, that's the one everybody wants. Again,
Yep.
Blanton's, right? It's allocated when it comes out, and everybody rushes to get it because everybody must have it.
yeah,
I think Russian River distributes to 7 states, maybe Colorado being one, and there's a few maybe in the Northeast, so they can get it. But if you can get it every day, you're like, I can go get Pliny
Not-
anytime I want.
yeah, not as big of a deal, and
Not
I
as
think
sexy,
I think that's a big point with Stone. Like I think Stone makes great beer, some of the best beer in the country, and I completely understand, why Joe loves everything that they put out because it's great stuff. But at the same time, you know, have they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, being available on such a wide scale? Because I do think that that's kind of part of it, is that it becomes so readily available everywhere that
Yeah.
it kind of turns that crowd away.
Yeah, the masses lose a little bit of interest. Three Floyds was that way in this area, probably most recently.
Yeah.
Like I'd go to Kentucky and could get zombie dust, and everybody's chasing zombie dust, right? And you'd go to the
Yeah.
tap room or something, and they'd give you like a 10 or a 12-ounce pour of it, like something small. And then they finally got it here in Tennessee, and like I love it, and I get it places, but I can get it anytime I want to now, so it's not
Yeah.
as sad.
The hunt is over. You won.
Yeah, I
Well,
won.
and I think
On to the next one.
I think the biggest example of that, at least for me, is the hype around Treehouse.
Mhm.
And I've had, people send me Treehouse beers and they've been good. Is it like the end all be all? No, it's good beer. But I
Yeah.
think that Treehouse, like Russian River, they built this kind of you can't get it anywhere but here thing with it.
Yeah.
And it becomes this white whale of if you want it, you got to come to us because we're not going to send it to you.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think
Right.
that's what helps kind of feed the mystique about it. But like Nick, I love seeing lines for breweries. I think that's
Mhm.
a great thing to come back. And like you guys said, Pliny the Younger, they just had the thing sold out down the street. And you talked about Three Floyds. I don't know if they still do it or not, but they had like Dark Lord days, like
Yeah,
3
I think
days of
so.
where they would do Dark Lord. And I used to see pictures of that, people lined up for like a mile to get like 4 bottles of that thing.
Yeah.
That's good for the industry, but the hype comes from if you want it, you got to come to us and get it.
This
Yeah.
is your
Whereas
chance.
with me, with Stone, they send it out into the world and go, here's our beer. So there's a flip side to, yeah, you got to come to us, but hey, you like our beer? It's available in all 50 states. You can get it
Yeah.
whenever you want. So
And
Hey
you-
Joe,
it's
can
kind
I
of a
can I
double-edged
just say
sword.
this about Stone? You were
Yeah.
talking on one of your podcast episodes about Stone so much. I got so excited I wanted to run through a wall to go get it. I mean, I was like, this guy is hyping up and I went on Untapped and I looked and I checked in a Stone IPA at about it was like 2021. So and it's so funny. I've seen their beer. I think Scott, they sell Stone here in Nashville, don't
Yeah,
they?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
I
can
was gonna
find it.
say it's like one of them things though, it's like so much beer, so many styles. And now because of you, Joe, and of course you too, Nick, I'm gonna have to go out
Oh,
and
sure,
get
you,
me.
Nick.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I'm gonna have to, yeah. I gotta go. I gotta go now because I listened to your podcast about nothing. I have to go out and I have to get me a Stone IPA.
Well, if you can't get them, let us know because me and Joe both have access to it. So
There you go.
Yes, we do.
we got
And
you.
again,
Got you either way.
it does go back to those things. If I could, you look in on a shelf, right? And it's like, oh, I've seen Arrogant Bastard or stuff, whatever, 1,000 times. I'm just looking past it for something else, kind of thing. But it's always there. Like if it's there, you just kind of sometimes you just look past it. I'm
Yeah.
guilty of it because when I go to a liquor store, some of my favorite beers might be on the shelf, but I'm looking for something new. That's just the way I drink beer. That's the way I love to drink beer.
Yep.
And I should have more staples in my life. It's go-tos and stuff. But every time I go to the liquor store, I want something new. That's my goal.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way as you are, Scott, because we get so much craft beer at this point that you always want something different. There's a couple beers that I can drink all the time, and I'll get a 4-pack of it every now and then. But if I'm going to go out and spend $20 on a 4-pack of beer, I don't want to get the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and also, like, how do you broaden your horizons if you don't try new things?
For sure.
So, anytime I'm the same way as you, anytime that I see something posted or, I'll make a weekly trip to the store and just walk up and down the aisles a few times just to see if something catches my eye that's different. And for that reason, because it's always fun to try those new things, especially once your palate is evolved enough to appreciate them more.
That's a great point. You could get a 4-pack of singles, like that's how I get, and you could have 4 different styles in that thing. And like, hey, maybe, yeah, I like Berliner. I know what a Berliner is, but you get throw one in there, like shit, you having maybe a newfound appreciation or something, just trying something new all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong, we talked about it earlier, with coming across a beer that you don't like. And that's part of the learning process too. Like you were saying, Scott, is, it's not that, and I think Joe was saying it too, it's not that you don't like beer, you just don't like that kind. and you're not going to know that until you try it. But at the same time, going back to the Untapped conversation, one of my biggest pet peeves are those people that just bash a beer on Untapped because they don't like it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it drives me absolutely nuts because for example, I don't like Hefeweizens. That clove, banana, ester, I can't, it's too much for me. But if I try one and I don't like it, the first thing that I do isn't going to be to open Untapped, give it like a 0.5 rating and be like, this beer fucking sucks. It's just not
Because
it's not my style. I appreciate the style and it has its place among beer lovers. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
But just because it's not for me doesn't mean I'm going to go out and bash it to the world either.
Nick, I was just listening to your episode 9 this morning with you guys, and when you were talking about that on the Untapped app, it was funny because I think one of the exact quotes you said was, "You go into a brewery and you see these people they're on their phones, and it kind of gets on your nerves because you're like, you know, that they're looking and they're trying to figure out do they want this beer based on the universal ratings." See, I'm just the opposite. I go in, I don't look at necessarily the universal ratings because I don't care what the universal ratings are. I go in and I'm looking on my Untapped app to see if I've had this beer before. And if I haven't, there's a good chance I'm going to get it. Now, I may look to see like if you've rated it or if Joe or, Scott, if you guys have rated it in to see what maybe you're looking at it, but I want to get it. And if I don't like it, I mean, even before we started this podcast and we were talking to brewery owners, I wouldn't, very rarely would I ever rate a beer under 3.25.
Mhm.
I've got to the point now that if I don't like a beer, if I'm rating it like a 3.50, that's as low as I'm probably going to go
that's
because
probably that.
it may not be my style of beer, but I don't want to crap on the beer industry as a whole. Just
Right.
because I don't like I like IPAs. I don't like grapefruit. If it's like a total grapefruit IPA, I've never liked grapefruit in my life. So if I try one and I don't like it, well, it's kind of stupid to get on there and go, "Oh, this thing is a 1 because I don't like grapefruit IPA." Well, that's kind of ignorant. So
Right.
I wrote I wrote down a note for this episode, and I said maybe we need to come up with an app called the Common Sense Beer Rating app. What do you guys think?
How would you vet those people that get on that app? Or just
Only
Well,
those with
I
common sense. I don't know.
yeah, I think that I talked about it last week with Nick and Dave that my problem with Untapped is like I'll use an example. I am not a fan of sours. I don't like them. I will never like them. I'm like the green eggs and ham. I don't care if you put them on a train, eat them in the rain on a boat. I don't care. But I had a mango sour one that I got in a beer trade, and it was put like mango sour margarita. It was everything that it was supposed to be. It tasted like a mango sour margarita. I think I put it on Untapped as a 5 because it was everything that it was supposed to be. The last thing I was going to do was going to go on there and give it a 1 because I don't freaking like. No, it's exactly what the
Right.
brewery intended it to be, and they nailed it. I literally at one point forgot I was drinking a beer and thought I was drinking a margarita because it was. But I don't like sours. I'm not big into porters and stouts, but I drink them, and if it's good, I'll give it a 5 because it's exactly what the brewery intended.
Yeah.
That's my problem with Untapped. You
Yeah.
allow people to go on this app and bash a brewery all because they don't like the beer, but the beer is everything that beer is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I know me
I
personally, I have all but abandoned Untapped. I haven't posted. I just don't do it anymore. All my stuff's on Instagram because I just got tired of seeing people going on and doing like 1s and 2s, and then you read it, and then you go out and I find the beer here and I drink it. I'm like, this is everything the label says it's supposed to be. Why are you giving it a 2.5? Because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah, you have those dopes out there,
Yeah.
and you can't do anything about them, And
Yeah.
and it's funny, when we started this podcast, I never thought about it from that viewpoint. I never
Yeah.
thought about it from the and I don't never bash anybody. I mean, I'll shit on some Bud Light or something, but they don't care. But but I would never bash anybody like that. But I never understood that point or never realized that point until we started talking to brewers and we started bringing it up on tap, and we're like, oh shit, there's a whole nother side of this. Sierra Nevada might not care, New Belgium might not care. The guy down the street cares,
Yeah.
right? Your local guy cares.
Mhm.
I mean, that's getting people, whether that, people come or go to the brewery or not. In
Well,
some
that's the
instances.
thing. That people go on this app and they look, and like Nick said, you walk into a brewery and everybody is on their phone. Put your phone down, get a flight, talk to the person in front of you, drink beer,
Yeah.
right? Just put your phone down and drink
Yeah.
the frickin' beer,
Yeah.
right? I mean, now I'm guilty of it. You guys have seen it. I will take a picture of it because it's a beautiful thing in a glass. It's gorgeous, right? But put your phones down, drink the beer, talk to the people across from you, go
Yeah.
up and talk to the brewer. We want to talk about the beer. We want to talk about it all day long to the point where you'll get tired of talking to us.
Yeah.
We want to talk about our beer.
Yeah.
I will go back and get you samples out of the tank if you want to let you try it.
Yep. Yeah, Keith and Cooper
Yeah,
have talked about that. When you just start talking to them, like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
just
I got
talk.
something back here. Yeah.
Yeah, put your phone away and go talk to someone.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe, you're in the business. You're on that side of the bar, right? Yes,
Yeah,
we want
yeah.
we want to talk to you.
Yeah, to me, I love talking to you about the beer we have on tap. I will give you endless samples. I don't care. Take pictures, whatever, but don't talk to me while you're looking at your phone. I'm going to walk away.
Yeah. Oh, I get that completely. A lot of times when I
Yeah,
walk,
yeah.
Scott and I talk about this all the time. We were actually when we had the foamy heads on last week from here in Nashville, talking about we go into breweries and stuff, and maybe we're gonna take some, pictures from Instagram or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah,
when I get into a brewery, I gotta take pictures right away when I walk in, because otherwise I'm consumed with the conversation. I'm consumed by the beer. When I walk in, I probably pull up my Untapped app to look at the board to see, have I had this beer before? And then after that, the phone basically is going away. I mean, sometimes I wait till the next day before I even rate my beers, because yeah, you're there to have a good time. And as you said, Joe, you want to sit there and talk to other people, and talk to good
yeah,
guys like Nick over here, who
yeah.
is drinking beer constantly.
You mean Walrus Nick? If you saw his social media
Oh,
today,
yeah,
you know what
my
I'm talking
post
about.
today.
I love that.
Cuckoo Kajube.
Hey, something I wanted to ask both of you guys, and
Those are funny.
yeah, something I wanted to ask both of you guys. Joe, this seems an obvious question for you, so I'll ask Nick first. Is, we know, because people come into Nashville and they ask us, like, what breweries should you go to? What are the best breweries? Nick, where you live in West Virginia. So if I'm going to come there, or anybody that's listening to this podcast or going to listen to your podcast, and they're saying, I want to go to West Virginia, into the area where Nick is, what are some of the breweries that you like to go to that you can recommend for people?
So that's a tough question to answer. I can give you some breweries that I enjoy and some that I've physically been to, but breweries are kind of few and far between in West Virginia. So some of the beers that I like are from 4 or 5 hours away, just because everything is kind of on the outskirts of the state, because we're in between so many different places. But the one closest to me that I really enjoy is a place called High Ground Brewing. It's in Terra Alta, West Virginia, which is middle of nowhere. Um, but they make some phenomenal beer. It's literally one of those places that you drive across a set of train tracks, and there's like a little barn style building back there, and has a big like American traditional eagle painted on the side of it, just like a tattoo. And you walk in, and it's just a concrete floor, a wooden bar, but some of the best beer that I've had in the state. It's all veteran there, and that's where the High Ground name comes from. And they make a little bit of everything from IPAs to pilsners to lagers and stouts, and it's probably one of my favorite places to go in person. And then another one would be Big Timber, is in Elkins, West Virginia. That's probably the biggest brewery in the state in terms of the beer that they put out and their distribution and everything. They're a West Virginia staple, and you kind of see them a little bit of everywhere that you go. And then in terms of places that I haven't been but I would like to, is a place called Parkersburg Brewing, which is on the western side of the state, like right on the Ohio border. They're turning out some phenomenal beers, and they're great people. I've talked to their head brewer several times at beer festivals and stuff like that, and he's just what Joe was explaining. He's one of those that he just loves to talk about his beer. As soon as you walk up, tells you character profiles, ingredients, all that kind of stuff that 95% of the people that are at those festivals have no idea what he's saying. But he loves it so much and he just wants you to enjoy his beer. He wants to explain it to you. And I think for me personally, that goes a long way in getting you interested in a place's beer because they have that passion that they want to talk to you about it. And everywhere that I've been that he's been at, he has that same amount of enthusiasm and it just makes you want to try the beer. And then you try the beer and it's phenomenal. It's everything he says it is.
If I could piggyback on that with your geography, Nick,
Mhm.
you're close to many other states too, right? You got Maryland right there.
Right.
You just said you're close. So you get beer when you. What are the better states to get beer to take home from, based on your proximity?
Most of my beer, the beer store that I go to is in Virginia.
Okay.
That's where I get the biggest variety of it. Maryland gets a decent amount, and there's a beer store about an hour and a half away from me that has a solid selection. I don't get to it nearly as often as I do in Virginia, but um, either Maryland or Virginia is probably the easier of the two. Pennsylvania has some stricter alcohol laws, so you have to go to like an ABC store most of the time to get something like that. And I don't go to Pennsylvania a whole lot. So Virginia and Maryland are the easier ones. West Virginia, you can get some stuff, but most of it is, if it's not West Virginia beer locally, it's your typical, I don't want to say domestic, your typical commercial craft beer. So your occasional, your Sierra Nevadas, your Sam Adams, your Blue Moons, that kind of stuff.
Yep. And then Joe, how about you? Because I obviously Hawaii's different, but I kind of wondered when I was thinking about the craft beer experience in Hawaii. I know a lot of people, obviously, when they're coming to Hawaii to visit, they're maybe not thinking necessarily about craft beer because they got other things in their mind. But do you find a lot of people that are coming there too? They want to try that craft beer experience, or is it more locals that are into it?
Well, I can tell. Well, real quick, I want to give a shout out to another brewery in West Virginia that I'm a big fan of, and Nick made me a fan of them. Greenbrier Valley Brewing Company. Nick sent me a Devil Ants IPA and a Malton Black IPA, two of the best beers I've ever had. Greenbrier Valley Brewing is another one in West Virginia that I highly recommend. I wish they would have been there when I still lived there. But
Also,
for
I'm sorry,
Hawaii,
Greenbrier. I love you.
I got you, brother. Don't worry about it. So, people come to Hawaii, they're going to get inundated with Kona Brewing and Maui Brewing. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Those beers are absolutely fantastic. And that's what, Kona's got the great marketing with the two brothers talking about Big Wave and Longboard and all that. And if you've ever had a Maui Big Swell IPA, I've never had a bad one. It's a fantastic West Coast IPA. Bikini Blonde is made with local Hawaiian cane sugar. But, the craft beer craze in Hawaii, it's been slow. Usually we're 6 months behind the mainland when it comes to stuff, but we've had such an influx of people opening breweries here. And I would expect you guys would think the best beer here is who I work for. The best brewery in Hawaii, and I can't talk enough good things about them, Hanakoa Brewing. Nick got some beer from them. Those guys over there brew some of the best beer on the island. They keep their tap list rotation fresh. They have like 4, 5, 6 core beers. They release a new beer like every other Friday. Their West Coast IPAs slap. Their sours. It's a fantastic brewery, and you can't get it anywhere but here on the island. They don't ship to the mainland. Beer Works is another one. They closed their initial location. They're reopening somewhere else with a bigger capacity. Honolulu Beer Works, their Hop Island IPA, their Coco Weissen, their El Guapo with cilantro, lime, and agave is absolutely amazing. Inu Island Ales, Loka High Brewing. There's so many other little breweries that are opening that people are starting to realize now that there's more out there than Kona and Maui. Just because those two are in all the stores, and again, in no way would I ever say anything bad about either of those. I love their beer. It's absolutely amazing. I know the owners, I know the reps. The beer is amazing. But craft beer here in Hawaii, it's grown to the point where not only do we have local beer, but then we have local bottle shop named Village Beer. They got one downtown and one out here in Kapolei, where they bring in everything from the mainland. Like now we can get Weldworks and Gigantic and
That's
Great
awesome.
Northern and Great Notion and all these other ones we could never get before. And I don't know how Tim and his crew does it. He brings in stuff that nobody else can bring in. And there's starting to be this movement now, and you can see it in the beer festivals. A couple years ago, the beer festivals were mildly attended, not crowded. Now, by the end of the festival, you can't even move around on the fairground anymore. It is packed. So it's got some momentum now. And when people come down here to the island, the first thing I get asked when they come out to where I work, this beer is good. What other places do you recommend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't say Kona and Maui Brewing. I say Hanakoa, Inu, Beer Work. Go down and try these breweries downtown. That's local beer. You can't get their beer anywhere else. And that's what I tell people.
Nice.
And I love that because we've talked about this many times. If you can get an area that's got multiple breweries in it, they don't have to be walking distance, but if you can hit a little area, you can hit 3 or 4. That's a day, man. And it's to go out to one is a little difficult sometimes. I go out there or spend all day, but if I can hit 3 or 4, now we're on a little adventure.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite trips. And you just line
Yes.
them up, and you're like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Yeah. When you go out of town, it's like, okay, this one's proximity to this one, and this one's proximity. So we can do this, and now we can go. Got to get some food, I guess, apparently, and then we can stop drinking for a minute, and then we go back to drinking again.
Yeah.
Love the ones that are walking distance. If you
Yeah.
can walk to them, unless you have to stumble, then
I mean, yeah, as long as you can stumble safely, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Walk uphill.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Hey, with the time difference between you guys, obviously, again, West Virginia, East Coast, Hawaii. Was that Pacific time? No, it's not even Pacific time, is it?
It's Hawaii time.
Hawaii has its own time zone. We are all on our own out here.
Okay, that's awesome. How do you guys record and how do you guys schedule things with those differences in the time zones?
Very carefully.
Yeah, very strategic.
No. So our recording schedule usually goes based off of Joe's work schedule. Because it's obviously it's easier for Joe to record on days that he is off because regardless, it's usually the evenings whenever I'm home from work that we're able to record because of that time difference. So for him, it's easier to record whenever he doesn't have to go into work. So for example, there's a 6-hour difference between Joe and myself. So a lot of times we will record at 6 p.m. Eastern time on a Wednesday, whereas it's lunchtime for Joe. So it can definitely get complicated if we ever have to venture outside of that, and we've had to once, Joe, that we've had to go off course.
Yeah, we had to go outside of that one time, and we got to do it again next week. With our interview we having, like it's 9:00 my time, and you got to get off work early to get home. But it's one of those things where it unfortunately it works around my schedule because I've gone from one schedule one week to another, and Nick's really good about adapting to that. It's just the way it's got to be.
Yeah.
Working in the industry, it's kind of like schedule comes out every week. It's like I roll the dice, and my days off going to be the same. But Nick is real good. But I do most of the scheduling, and I'm well aware of our time differences. And so I always try to get people to record noon my time because on days I go into work, I don't go in till 3:30, so we can still record before I go into work, and that's 6:00 Nick's time. He's already home. He's already relaxed, got changed out, showered, whatever. We can do it that way. Sometimes, like next week, it's 9 a.m. my time, and Nick's got to leave early to come home because that's the only time we can get this person in. But these are the only 2 times we've ever had to kind of go outside of the box of our normal recording schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of that's depending on the guest too. If we have someone that's East Coast time, it's not really a big deal. If we have someone that's Joe's time, it's typically not a big deal. But when we start to run into those like mountain Western time zones to where they're like smack dab in the middle of both of us, to where it's evening for
Sure.
me, it's lunch for Joe, and they still have like 2 hours left in their workday. You know, that's when it gets a little dicey. But
Yeah.
Joe and I get along just fine, and it's something like we said earlier, we don't want this to seem like a job either, so we don't stress
Right.
about it. And when we can fit people in, we fit them in, and when we can't, we can't. And we move into another week, or we move our schedules around, or whatever we got to do. And I'm sure we'll come across more hurdles as we go. But so far, everything's been fairly simple to arrange, despite the 6 hour difference.
No, that's great. We haven't had to make those kind of accommodations. The earliest we've done like 3 p.m. Somebody had to do different time zone, like 3 p.m. But Steve's done about 3, and I just leave early, and we just do it at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we just do it. You want to do it at 3? We'll do it at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad.
No.
Yeah, but
and-
mostly it's about around this time for us.
And really, time is just a number for us, because there's also times on the weekends to where me and Joe get the bright idea that we're going to drink when he gets off work. So Joe's getting home at 2 a.m. Hawaii time, and it's 7, 8 o'clock over here, and I'm pounding beer, and I'm half lit by 10:30. And over there, he's just ready to go to bed. So
He pounds them and goes to sleep. You pound them, have to figure out the day, right?
right, you guys got to join us for one of those. It's a great time.
Oh my
Not to do it.
I gotta just listen to
by
it
the way,
afterwards.
by the way, real quick, and I'm going to edit this out, but I was just looking up, and I'm like, there's all these tornado warnings that are breaking out around here. Not that far from, but I was looking at.
Right.
So if you saw me looking up, I'm like, oh yeah, I keep getting all these alerts on my phone. We don't have one for our county yet, but it's like okay, continue.
While we have a little break, can I have a little interjection here from our podcast?
Yes.
All right, Joe, Steve, and Scott, can I tell you a fun fact?
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right,
We're getting Steve. We're being invaded.
you're being invaded from the beer podcast about nothing.
Let's do it.
Did you guys know that at one point a French pig was executed for killing a child?
What did the child do to deserve it?
So that's a fair question. A
To answer your
pig
question, no, I didn't know that.
Right. A pig from the Middle Ages was once tied to a crime involving a murder. The pig was said to have come in contact with a child's face, which caused complications due to the injuries, which led to the untimely death of a 3-month-old child. The pig was eventually sent to jail and eventually publicly executed.
Wow.
The whole town had a great breakfast.
I missed that in history class.
Wait,
I
where
just
was
pulled a fast one on Joe, because usually that's his thing.
where was
Okay,
this? Does it happen?
wait, back up. Did you say the pig got arrested?
Yes, the pig was arrested and sent to jail,
put
and
in
then
jail?
publicly executed.
Where?
Yeah,
I
where
never
was
thought the
that?
French had a sense of humor. I
Yeah,
love it.
I was going to say, and this
I'm
was
telling you.
so,
Why did we not learn about that in history class growing up?
right? That's why our podcast exists.
I know it.
He put him in jail.
That's what I had a hard time wrapping my head around.
That'll
They
teach him.
arrested the pig and just take him out and just slaughter him and be done
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Have bacon the next morning.
I
Put him in
know.
jail. Did they put him on
So-
trial too? Was there like a hearing?
I don't know. And also, I'm assuming this was like medieval times. So did they put him like a guillotine?
Huh.
Like what kind of public execution are we? Did they hang him?
Hope that they.
Were all the
They did-
townspeople invited to watch?
I don't know. Did they make bacon afterwards?
You got to make bacon afterwards. I mean, don't waste anything on a pig.
Right. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I don't know.
I hope he didn't die in vain. The town ain't
Oh,
good.
and we have regressed.
Yeah. Well,
Well
That's
That's
done.
okay.
okay.
We've been
Well done.
we've been invaded, Steve.
We've been invaded. I love
we
it.
had
though.
to bring part of it over.
I like the random fun facts.
So all right, that's pretty good. Hey, by the way, and I don't know if it was ever part of the podcast, but you guys did a drunk dance party, and was that just for Instagram or what? But was that part of the podcast?
No,
No.
that was part of those 2 a.m., 7 a.m. drinking days.
Okay.
So it was
Yeah.
like 10 a.m. here, 5 a.m. Joe's time, and we were just drunk and, wild at that point.
Could we bring it back?
That was I had got home like 2:00 in the morning, been a long day, and I was like 5 Wookiee Jack Rye IPAs in by that time. And Nick's like, "You want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's how that came about. We have another one that he hasn't posted yet. We've done 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna need to see
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah,
that.
there is a second one out there.
Yes,
I
there is.
forgot about it, and I came across it on your social media, and I was like, "Oh, the drunk dance party."
Yep.
Maybe that. Don't you guys think since I'm doing a summer tour, that Scott that needs to do a summer tour, maybe like a dance party, maybe the Scott summer tour dance party. What do you guys think?
I think we need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I did seltzers and ciders last year. I actually paid for seltzers and ciders last year for the podcast. This year I'm doing West Coast IPAs. Scott, got to step up for the podcast, buddy.
Do I go just strip club to strip club? Is that the deal?
You know, whatever you want to do. Maybe we'll auction you off for
What
money.
kind of dancing are we talking about?
I don't know. Maybe Nick and Joe, since they're the dance number guys, maybe they could create a dance for you or something.
I mean, I can dance right now. This isn't live, right? Like we're not recording.
No, not at all.
Are we not recording?
Just a couple guys, just
Oh, wait,
3
wait,
guys,
we're
4 guys
recording?
hanging out.
Oh,
Joe,
we're
you
still
told me
recording.
Joe, you told me not to put on pants. Oh, this is embarrassing.
We're not
thought we
recording.
were just hanging out.
Or just another happy hour. It's a random
happy hour.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what we should do. We should take one of our happy hours and do a whole drunk dance party with like all 8 of us.
Yeah.
All right, if there's 7 other people doing it, I might move a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 20 seconds. It's fine. You don't even just close your eyes and do one of these. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just grab my drink and I put my head down and I do something like this.
Yeah. Get a little music going. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
Surely they're not looking at me. They're looking at the other 7 people.
That's right.
I need to get you guys like a little AI song that you can throw into your podcast somewhere.
I do like your songs. Yeah, I was listening to the words earlier today.
I have so many of them.
Yeah, he does.
Like I just went down a rabbit hole one day for like 6 hours, and it was a great time.
Yeah.
Podcast. I listen to it and it rings in my head for like hours.
It is. It's
Podcast
catchy.
about nothing.
Yeah. See, it did its job.
It resonates, that's for sure.
Hey, so you guys talked about earlier, you guys have never met. By the way, let me ask this question real quick before I get to that. Joe, how tall are you? Because I meant to ask that earlier, and it's relevant, kind of.
I am 6'8.5".
Pretty tall. You wouldn't be able to tell it from this sitting down, but
Nope.
it still blows my mind. So,
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna meet.
Hey Scott, how tall am I?
Yeah. 5'8", 5'6", 5'6", 5'5".
5'5".
5'5". Okay, all right. I actually have met you. So I don't remember.
I was gonna say you've seen me in person. We
I
were
know,
drunk. We were drunk 80% of the time.
Yes. You're a good hugging height. I hugged on you quite a bit.
Yeah, but then my face is just in your belly button.
Little dancing going on.
I don't know, Steve. When you're wondering about what to edit, just kind of write.
Stop
right in this
recording
area.
at this point.
Why? I thought are we not going that deep?
I don't care. That's fine. You leave it up there. Just throw it
I
up
don't know.
there.
You can, well, I'm not editing anything other than me.
We might offend some other beer Instagrammers.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
We
We don't want to offend the beer. We don't want to offend the beer drinkers of the world.
Oh, I know.
Sorry, Brudette.
But you guys haven't met in person, but you guys are gonna meet in San Diego here, what, in May, right?
Yep.
What
Yeah,
are
we're
some
gonna
of the
meet.
things you guys are gonna do?
We're
Drink
going to
beer.
meet over Memorial Day weekend, like the Thursday to Monday, and it'll be the first time that Nick and I have ever met in person. But doing the happy hours and doing the podcast, him and Ashley become part of our family, like what we call here in Hawaii, Ohana. They're definitely Ohana. So it's not like when I meet Nick, it's going to be awkward or whatever.
Yeah.
I've already know everything about him, about Ashley, about the dogs and all that. But we have 3, 4, 5 days of nothing but breweries and shenanigans planned. Um, and I asked Nick, I said, "Are you sure that Ashley is ready for this? Because my wife knows we're going to San Diego, but I mean, is she really ready for what him and I are going to do when we're there? Because we're staying somewhere that Nick, how many breweries are within walking distance of where we're staying?
Like 25.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have it
so,
all mapped out, kind of where you're going, or is it just gonna be like a day-to-day
So,
kinda?
so I sat down to do that a couple weekends ago, and I brought up the map, stared at it for about 20 minutes, and I closed my laptop because it was just overwhelming. And then just trying to, because my plan was, where our Airbnb's at, there's so many breweries south, there's so many north, there's so many to the west. So I'm going to be like, okay, if we just go straight north, we got X minutes from the house to here, and then we got X minutes from this brewery to this brewery. And there's just so much there that I'm just like, oh my God, I don't have the mental capacity to do this. But before we get there, yes, I would like to map it out. But, um, there's
Or
enough options too that if we eventually just walk one direction, we're going to run into something somewhere.
yeah, or find if somebody's got, like, a key place they wanna go to, "Hey, we gotta make sure we hit these spots, and then we can just fill in the
Right.
rest," kinda thing too?
Right. Yeah. We have, a handful of places that are must stops. So, I'm sure it'll come down as well to, all right, what is around that area
Yeah.
to where we can go here, 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 here. And then we've had a couple suggestions from some other enthusiasts too that have said, okay, you got to hit here, you got to hit here,
Yeah.
you got to hit here. So that's helped too. So, between Thursday afternoon and Sunday night before we fly out on Monday, we're gonna make our mark on San Diego.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
yeah, no doubt.
We're coming for you, San Diego.
Yeah, they're coming for you. Be ready.
Do they have White Castles out that way, or are they just over here?
Stop it.
No, they have Sonic, which is just as bad.
Hey,
So.
Steve, can you mute him?
Edit that
I
out.
won't bring it. I
Edit
won't
that
bring it. Oh,
out.
that we edit out. That we're gonna edit out.
Yeah, so
Hey,
we're
Steve, I have
we're
a fact.
staying kind of like downtown San Diego, but we are going to venture up north a little bit. Like we're going to make the pilgrimage to Stone, obviously.
Yeah.
Black Plague Brewing. There's Belching Beaver there. Those are 3 must things we have to do. But when Nick and I first started talking about this, we were originally going to go somewhere else and decided on San Diego. And when he sent me the address of where we're staying, I went and punched it up, and I'm like, we don't even need to drive anywhere, like
Love
at
it.
all. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah. And I mean that was kind of whenever I was trying to find a place to stay, like obviously I wanted to be near breweries, but I knew San Diego was a big area for beer. I didn't know it was that big.
Really.
And whenever it came down to it and I started looking up Airbnbs and stuff like that, and then I brought up some sites about San Diego breweries. There's so many that they have like neighborhoods for breweries.
Nice.
To where okay, you got, so we're staying near 30th Street, and 30th Street has 25 breweries within 10 blocks, something like that, which is wild to me.
Yeah, that's ideal.
Right. So that's where we're actually staying at. But then there's like a coastal section that has another 15 to 20. And then the northern section has like 20 to 30. They're a little more spread out, but they're still all up there. And I'm like, this is impossible to pick like a perfect spot.
Yeah.
So 30th Street where we're going, it seems to be there's a bunch of breweries, but there's also a lot of tap rooms to where places that are throughout the rest of not just San Diego, but California just have a bunch of tap rooms that, you can go in and at least still have their beer. So
Yeah, you might not make it to the brewery, but you could have their beer all under one roof.
And how
right.
many days
So
are you doing this for, Nick?
we're doing it Thursday we're flying in Thursday, flying out Monday. So basically Thursday afternoon to Sunday evening we have free.
So there will be no sleeping or any of those breweries open at like, 4. It doesn't matter.
No,
Just take the
it
beer
doesn't.
back and there's not going to be any sleep going on. You're just going to be
No,
at work. and-
it doesn't matter. It's just going to be beer, a couple naps here and there with some coffee in the morning, and then back to the beer.
Have you checked out the breweries that have brunch? That's always important.
It is definitely on our list.
Yes. Yes.
Joe, I've got kind of a random question for you, but here we get a lot of when the seasons change, when the seasons change, and I'm going to pick on Sam Adams for a minute, but summer ale is already out in March, right? Oktoberfest comes out in freaking August or whatever it is. Do you see that over there too? And I ask that because is it more delayed over there where you actually maybe get some of that seasonal stuff when the season actually is? Although you don't have many seasons over there either, do you?
No, over here it's pretty much 83 degrees and sunny every day.
Yeah,
It's summer every day. But like I said earlier, we're a couple months behind the mainland. So when you say that, you get Sierra Nevada celebration like August or September, down here we don't get it until November. So we get it kind of at the time we're supposed to get it.
When you're
But that's
supposed
kind
to.
of how they have it. But the local breweries here, during the summer, they're starting to do sours now. They do the German Bock beers, a Helles Bock, a Weiss beer, a Crystal Weiss. They do those at the appropriate times. Nobody's jumped on the Oktoberfest train yet. I don't know why. I'm going to try to work on that a little bit here. Yeah.
Talking my language, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you imagine an Oktoberfest on the beach? It would be insane. But no, so down here, those beers come out exactly when they're supposed to. Like Sam Adams Summer Ale, it won't even be on the shelves here until Memorial Day weekend.
That's perfect. It's exactly how it should be.
And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
wild to me because I just had 2 summer ales like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I haven't had any yet, but I'm overdue.
Well,
I'm
like, Steven,
that guy.
I love
Sorry, Scott. Not to interrupt. I'm that guy that as soon as Sam Adams Oktoberfest comes out, I'm that guy the first day at the store ready to get it. And I don't care if it's the end of August. I'm getting it.
You're coming home with the whole case of it.
Yeah,
great.
just about.
Yeah, but then you can get winter lager in October.
Exactly.
No thanks.
So when you really want it, it's not there. And I love summer ale. I like the Oktoberfest too. But summer ale, I love to see it. But fucking June comes around or July, it's gone.
Yeah,
Yep.
like I'm drinking a summer ale and it's 25 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
So I'm sorry,
it's-
Joe. You said October. You don't get Oktoberfest there at all.
No, we do, but it comes out like the end of August, first part of September.
Okay.
Yeah, all of our Sam Adams seasonals here, they come out within a week or two before the season. I mean, it's technically summer here all the time, so it's kind of ridiculous to be honest with you. But it's 83 degrees in June. It's 83 degrees on Christmas Day. It doesn't change.
Well, yeah.
But we still like to bring in the seasonal beers, but they hit exactly when they're supposed to. Like you won't see a summer ale on the shelf before Memorial Day weekend, and you won't see it after August. It'll be gone. And then by that time, they'll be clearing it out for the Oktoberfest. That'll be gone the middle of October, and then the Winterfest kicks in. And then around Thanksgiving, they put the Sam Adams Christmas pack with like the old Fezziwig ale in it.
Yeah.
That's what comes out. And then by January, that's gone. So yeah.
Yeah, we've laughed about that on our podcast as far as like when I know this year when Sam Adams Oktoberfest, when I saw it at a store here, and I think it was like the end of August, and then I go in and I'm like, there's their pumpkin beer right next to it. And I'm like, no, come on now. No, that's no.
I know.
Way
And
too soon.
and they always say it's, they're fighting for shelf space and all that. I mean, just fight for it during the season that it actually is. I mean, what difference does it make?
Like if your beer's good enough, it'll survive, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You would think so.
And I get geography, like the Northeast is probably different than where we live. It's obviously different where, where Joe lives out there in Hawaii. So seasons are different a little bit. It gets hot here earlier. So, in May it might be 90 degrees and that might fit. But also in July, I still need that and it's gone.
Yeah.
But,
Admittedly, I'm a little biased because I'm a big Oktoberfest guy, and it could go on all year for me. However, I also understand that, it shouldn't go on all year, even if it is for me.
You'll change your mind once you develop your love for West Coast IPAs.
there you go. There you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Report back. I'm going on tour soon.
Everybody tune in for ticket sales.
That's right.
No, Steve, I've got a little fact for you, and you probably saw it on my stuff. And Joe, if you've looked at Steve's background and his wall behind him, he's a Reds fan. Joe is a lifelong Reds fan too. Steve, did you know that?
I think you had told me that at some point.
Well, I think you probably read my note.
We haven't talked about the Reds. Joe, Scott and I are going to the Reds up in Cincinnati in May.
Oh, that's something I miss because growing up in West Virginia, we didn't have professional sports of any kind. We had family live in Cleveland; they were Cleveland Indians fan, but my dad was a lifelong Reds fan.
Yeah,
and we used to go up to Cincinnati for all the home games from when I was little, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yep.
Until he passed away when I was 9, and then I still stayed a Reds fan. I remember seeing Johnny Bench play, and just the Reds teams from yesteryear, which were really good. But I'm a lifelong Reds fan. Will never like any other baseball team. Diehard Reds. I was born and raised. Will never like anybody else.
Well, Scott and I do every year, and we've done this for probably 7 or 8 years. The backstory on this, I'll give you it. So every year in May, my family and I, we get together and we do a big Reds outing. The biggest reason for it is because my older brother Mike passed away about 11 years ago, and he and I were big Reds fans. We used to go to games all the time, and he had diabetes, passed away of a heart attack. After he died, my cousins and I got together and said, you know what? We need to have something every year in his honor. So we have a Reds outing every year in his honor, and we're doing it in May. Scott comes up for it. He never met my brother, but he comes up for it. He's been coming up for like 7 or 8 years now. And when he started coming, we got into craft beer together. We started going to breweries together, and we've added days on top of, not only do we do a couple of Reds games and the big outing for my brother, we also do a whole big thing of breweries every year. So it's a whole lot of fun.
Nice.
That sounds like fun.
It's grown.
Yeah.
It has grown.
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he should.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm honored that Steve invites me every year and we get to go. And it's kind of how our whole thing started. We would leave breweries and be like, "Hey, we should start a website." Yeah, which we have, and then it evolved to let's start some social media. Let's do a podcast because of it. Same thing as you guys. We're experiencing all these beers and we're drinking all these beers. We need another outlet for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the first time that we did like the Reds and brewery outing up there, it was maybe like 3 days, because Cincinnati has a great brewery scene. And so we went up there, and it was maybe like go up on a Friday, come back on a Sunday or a Monday. And then after about 2 years, I said, you know what? We need to add like another day. So we keep adding days. And this year we've added, how many more days, Scott? Is it 7, 8?
and 2 additional cities.
Yeah. Yeah, not only this year we're going to
Columbus are now
Cincinnati, we're going to Columbus, and we're also going to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. What?
So and then we're
let me know when you guys go. Maybe Ashley I can come meet you guys one time.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially because Cleveland's probably closest to you, right? Of those cities.
Yeah, Cleveland's probably, if I had to guess, 4 hours maybe.
Okay.
Well, I know Columbus is 4 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much further Cleveland is or how much shorter, but yeah.
But yeah, going back to that, Joe, I'm a diehard Reds fan, as you can see, and been one all my life. I probably have been to, I don't know, if I had to count how many baseball games, Reds games I've been to in my life, it's probably been about 200. You know,
Yeah, no, that's the same way. I remember getting in the big old Buick Skylark with fins on the back with my
yeah,
dad when I was 6 and driving to Cincinnati and watching the games and staying overnight and coming back. And then when I was stationed in Miami, they come down there and play the Marlins. Military get free tickets, go see the Reds play the Marlins. Sometimes they win, sometimes they didn't. But it's just one of those teams that I just kind of latched onto through my dad, and I'm just a
yeah,
diehard Reds fan. I love the Cincinnati Reds, and we've had up and down years, but it's just
yeah.
the whole. It doesn't matter. It's the whole experience just
No,
being a
Yeah.
Reds fan, and
Oh yeah.
if you've ever been to the stadium or ever seen them play, it's just that whole. It's like, wow, I get to see my team play finally. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if you, both of you guys, if you guys ever decide you're gonna go, let me know. I'd love to join you up there because it's a fun time.
Nick, are you a baseball guy at all?
Oh, I love baseball. It's my favorite.
You an Orioles fan? Do I remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
AL East, baby. Right here. You and I.
It's been tough living for Orioles fans the last 30 years.
Yeah, but you guys have a
We're,
good
we're,
team.
we're,
man.
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got,
Oh,
you
try
got some
being a Reds
young.
fan. Come on.
Tell me about it. Yeah,
Hey, speaking of which, if you guys ever get tired of Ellie De La Cruz over there, send him our way.
yeah. I think in 2029 when he becomes a free agent, he's probably heading to the Dodgers.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they have no limit on their payroll right now, so
Well,
Exactly.
yeah. When you defer 650 million, you can do that.
yeah, it's going to
There you
catch him eventually.
Or he could end up in the Bronx, Steve.
You never know. You never know.
I think Baltimore's better.
Hey, by the way, are they still talking about kind of moving the Orioles out of Baltimore? No, I wouldn't
No.
think so.
Whenever so they sold the team before last season, and whenever they did that, they signed like a 20-year contract with the stadium.
Okay. I hate that. Like a storied franchise like that, they try to do it with the Twins years ago. Like just like you can't
Yeah.
move those teams, man.
But-
They've won
but
World
if-
Series.
If they would have moved, they would have came to you guys.
I know.
So
There you
Which-
go.
you could have got something there.
I know. Maybe. Well, because that's the AL East, right? We could see the Yankees play, which is why you go to ball games, and then.
That's why tickets are double when they're in town.
I know. We might be able to. Maybe we can get the Rays now since they backed out of their stadium thing down there in Tampa.
There you go, because it got destroyed, right? Like they're
Got
rebuilt.
destroyed. Yeah, and then they had committed to the city about building a new stadium for them, and then they've backed out of the deal about building the stadium. So
Yeah.
about being the Rays don't want to be in that stadium. So I don't know what they're looking at, but maybe Nashville. We'll see.
There you go.
I don't know. I mean,
love it.
Nashville's trying to get NBA. They're trying to get into the NBA, and
Look,
Yep.
you can take this NFL team out of here if you want to then put a baseball team in. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
They can go.
There's not much to sell there right now.
Exactly.
No. Hey, by the way, let's build a brand new stadium at the same time.
Dude, I don't fucking get it. Like, we're at like the lowest of lows, and we're gonna buy a multi-million-dollar stadium.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
get it.
It's you got to. Hey, you want to buy some what do they call them? PSLs for a shitty product?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Well, all it is just get the Super Bowl here and the NCAA.
correct.
championship,
Do that.
so.
Correct.
But that's
yeah.
what happens
So-
everywhere, right? Like they bring
Yeah.
the Super Bowl in, they bring the draft in, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. It just brings in revenue. But
The
Hey,
nice
by
thing
the
about this
way-
stadium
by
it
the
will
way-
be covered. Go ahead.
By the way, not to interrupt, but are we? I know we're still recording. Are we like actually done with the podcast, or do you?
I'll tell you what. I've got a few stats. I've got a few stats I want to run
Okay.
by you guys.
I mean, we
Alright.
could stay on drinking. I'm
What
just
are we
like kind of like we're just kind of bullshitting now. Do you just want to?
Yeah.
do it.
All right, let me run these stats by you. These are podcast stats.
All right.
Do you know that there are 4.19 million podcasts registered around the world?
Oh,
Wow.
Somebody came ready.
Well, yeah. Apparently anybody can do it though, because we all are. So I guess all right, how about this? South Korea has the most podcast listeners in the world.
Wow.
Get
Yeah.
out of here.
Yep.
Oh, that's kind of surprising. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
Spain,
not going
Ireland,
there.
Sweden, and US. Yep. So we're either gonna have to have some Korean guests on, or we're gonna start speaking Korean to try to get our listenership up.
That'll be the summer tour for you, Scott. You can learn Korean.
Okay, I could do
No,
that.
but now I'm kind of offended because I don't think South Korea is on our listener list on my creators app.
No,
It's not.
or is it neither?
Damn, we fucked up.
We do have Russia on ours though. We picked up Russia.
Oh, we got we got
recently.
Russia.
You got Russia
got
too.
Russia.
We got Russia.
Yep.
I got two more. And this is okay. Podcast revenue market was expected to reach $4 billion globally in 2024. So like advertising and podcasting. Guys, we got to get a piece of that somehow.
gotta
I
get
don't
a
know how
piece.
stuff we do. 4 billion.
4 billion.
Do we need to merge? Is that what we got to do?
We have to do that.
You guys, you bring your advertisers, we'll bring ours.
Yeah.
Does that mean since there's 4 of us, we're going to be doing a 4-hour podcast?
To break it up.
Challenge
Joe will have
challenge
his, Steve will
accepted.
have his.
Yep. Yeah. We'll have our own hour. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
we'll be the Hop In Underground podcast.
All right, there you go.
Hop in.
All
We're
right,
drinking
one
an underground podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're drinking underground. All right, one more. And this is actually kind of cool. Only 1% of podcasts make it past 20 episodes. So you guys will certainly be there.
And you guys have surpassed that. Well done.
Thank you. We
A lot
love
of
you guys.
two-parters. Yeah. So anyway, something else I want to say as we close this thing out, man, you guys are doing more than just a podcast. And I think you guys realize that. You've probably been told thank you by people in the business or in the industry as far as, promoting breweries and craft beer as a whole. So you're doing more than just getting on the mics and talking about. You're promoting the industry, and I think it's a positive thing, and I think you'll hear a lot of thank yous from people you talk to for doing that.
Well, yeah, we appreciate that, and really we don't do, none of us do it for that, right? We do it just
Right.
to do it as a passion project essentially. But any type of awareness or recognition that we can bring along the way is just icing on the cake, because we're none of us are here for fame or money or anything like that. We're just here to talk about something that we love and we embrace and we all have a common interest in, and hope that it hits somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and-
just
and
realize
that's
that you're
the thing,
doing more than
and-
just. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You.
Yeah. So what it is too is to bring awareness to home brewing. We want to get people home brewing. Talked about the very beginning. Countertop systems are out there. You don't have to invest in a bunch of $300, $400, $500 and $900 glycol system or whatever. Just get into it. It's a great hobby. It's a great thing to be passionate about. But the best thing about it is the community that we have. It's the beer industry, the IG beer community. I say it all the time. The IG beer community rocks. We are, I think Nick said it last week. We talked about it with Dave, that people go on there to make it appear like they're happy or their lives are the perfect thing. We get on there because we're the people that we say we are. Like I got home at 2:00 in the morning last night and almost crushed a 19.29% 90 minute. That's who I am.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I did it.
Right.
But get people into home brewing, get them passionate about beer. And I'm going to throw this out there. Hey, Stone, if you want to sponsor Nick and I, please feel free to do it.
Yes, please.
Yes, Stone.
Do it
Get
or
on
else.
board.
Or
How
found
dare you?
Get in on the ground floor of these guys.
Exactly.
Guys, we really do love the podcast. Honestly, listen to every episode. You guys are doing a great thing. You're being yourselves. You got a passion for it. Look, I said this many times. We're consumers. I think we're all beer consumers first. So that's kind of where our expertise comes from. But we just love it. We're gonna continue to drink beer, whether we had these or not.
There you go. All
So.
right. Joe and Nick, from the Hoppin' Drinking Podcast. We're drinking podcast.
That's
I'll
right.
edit that.
Guys, thanks for being on. We appreciate you so much, and I know we will see you guys soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We love you guys.
Cheers,
Appreciate
guys.
you guys too.
man.
Love you
Aloha
guys
and
too.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. From the Brewery Underground Podcast.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.